Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of this video, and we were left with finished structure of the project. So we had built the CSS and the GSX code. Now before we go into Locomotive and all of that amazing stuff that you are waiting, we need to create a preloader so that we initially, when we would refresh, we would have a nice loader, and this will kind of give time for our images to be loaded, and then so that in the result the Locomotive Scroll could get the height and we would have a nice experience. So what we're gonna do is we will have a state here. Let's call it preloader and set preloader. And it's gonna be a simple state, so use state. Now we have it imported, and let's put it to true, because when we want it to be loaded we would show the loader. And let's show it in the render. So when we preload we would do something, otherwise we will render this all of the content. So here we would have a div, we'd call it a class name loader wrapper, and perhaps we want it to be full width, so we'll give it a class name for absolute. And inside, let's save, yeah, and inside we'll have two titles, flirty flowers for the first one, and h2 Rio de Janeiro. And before we go and program this preloader, we will need to style it first. So going to the home, where whatever you want, we will have the loader wrapper. It's a display flex, so this way we would align it vertical and or horizontal center. So this is one of the easiest way, center. But because it's a flex, we need to update the direction, so we set it to column. And let's give it a transition, or not, we don't need transition. Let's give it a background color to be, I don't know, I think is 191919, yeah, the almost black color. And for the font we will have a db d8 d6, and for the h1 we have the font size be 1.5 viewport width, text transform uppercase, and let's see font family to be beige sans serif. And then we have the font weight 600, and for the h2 we'll leave it to this. We'll change the font to Bodoni Moda, which is just a serif. We'll make it style italic, right, and let's give it a margin top around 10 pixels. Also we need to style the absolute class, so absolute. So this is just a position fixed, top 0, right 0, bottom 0, and left 0. So it would take the full width and height of the viewport. Let's make it to black, and that's then the index of 1. Now we should have something like this, yeah. I think that's H2 here. Yeah, we would have something like this. How we would preload is we need another state for timer, the timer, and this will count the seconds. Yeah, so we kind of want an artificial timer. So we don't do anything to check if the images are loaded, but just for the sake of this video, we'll think that after 3 seconds, all of the images or every asset is loaded on the page. We would need a reference for the interval, so use ref is imported and we'll set it to null. We'll need a clear function, so const clear is an arrow function, and what this will do is you will clear the interval of the ID current, and we will set the preload to false. And here inside we'll need to use effects. One, it will run when we mount the component, so like this, and another one will run when the timer changes, so we'd have to listen to the timer. And here we'll check if timer is equal to 0, then we will clear the interval, so we would not go further down. Otherwise, we'll assign the id.current to window set interval, and let's still take a function, and here, as I said, we'll count down to 1 second, so we'll wait between interval 1 second, and we will set the timer to be an arrow function, or no, set timer to be, let's see, timer is timer -1. So we get the current state, save, yes. So let's see, refresh, 1 2 3, boom, great, 1 2 3, boom. So we have this nice loader. For the locomotive scroll to work, we will need to add some data attributes to the DOM. So for the container, we'll have to say that, look, this is a scroll container, scroll container, and we will need to go to each of the component and tell them that is a data scroll section. So we would copy this. Let's go to featured. Yeah, here. Again, you can create maybe a class component called section maybe, and you would reuse it every time when you need a section. So that's doesn't work. Data scroll section. Save. Let's go to the gallery. The here as well. Paste to the header. I think to the header also need here. Header. Navbar as well. And I think this is all. What next we need to do is we need to create a new hook. So use loco scroll, for example. Yes. This use on screen, it will be later. I'll explain what it is and how you get it. And this is gonna be a function. So we export default function, use loco scroll, and we would need to have some kind of a boolean when we want to run this code. So yeah, so here we'll need to use the use effect, and this use effect will run when the start parameter changes. So start, and inside of it we'll check if not start, we return. So we don't do anything. And next, what we'll need to do is to create our locomotive scroll. So let's see, const loco scroll is a new locomotive scroll, which is an object, and we need to import the locomotive scroll from a locomotive scroll. As well, we will need to import the style is needed. So source the locomotive scroll .css. See, and inside of locomotive scroll we need the element. So the element for the container is gonna be the main container. Yeah, we have, that's why we have the ID. So again, we could just pass a reference or create here reference and then set it to that container, but for the convenience, so element document query selector. We know that we have an ID main container, and here we'll need the element to be scroll element. We'll need it to have a smooth scroll, multiplier to be 1, and the reveal class is reveal. So when the elements will get into the viewport, each of them will get is reveal class, and then we could animate it. Let's go and import this hook into our functional component here. So we'll just run use loco scroll, and I think if we go back, we need to set preload. So when we don't preload, preloader, yeah, so now we have now it works. We have the locomotive scroll working. Cool. Let's now go and animate each of the elements. So first we have the about, yeah, not about. We have the header, this header, right? And for header, we'll need to use the split text. The split text comes with a paid tier. So, but I found the minified version online. I will copy and paste it on a gist on GitHub. Yeah, I don't think you could use for real production, but for, I don't know, maybe a portfolio or some things that you do on your spare time, you could use it. And if you happen to have it paid, then you are free to go. Yeah, so let's see in the header. So in the header, we'll import two things. So we will import GSAP from GSAP, and then we will import split text from the path where we have the minified version. So for me is util split 3 min.js. And now we would have to create the split text animations. on mount. So use effect, it will run mount, and then we will need to create the split, which is new split text, and here we'll take the a DOM element. We will need pass the header text ID, and as a second object it takes few parameters, so we need to split the text on lines. So art and objects will be splitted, you'll see in a second, and for lines class we'll have a line called children. Let's see if something change here. Yeah, so we have now two divs, right? Cool. And now we need to animate them with GSAP. So GSAP 2 split lines. So duration of 1, Y to 0, opacity to 1, stagger to 0.1, and ease to power 2. And if something changes, nothing changes because we have to have a default animation. So in our style, we'll go here and we'll have line children, which is have a transform translate 0 and 500 pixels. So if we save and refresh, so there is a small mistake here. We should have to split the type to lines, and if we refresh, have this animation. But what I want to do is to have some kind of overlay on top. So to do this, we'll have to generate for each of the split a new div element. So what we do is we split it again, just like this. So split parent, but we give another class. If we go to DOM here, we'll see that, let's save, refresh. Yeah, we see that we have the line children and the line parent. So if we go back to the CSS and say that, look, line parent is overflow hidden, if we save, we would have this effect, like exactly what we wanted to have. Let's go back and just downgrade this to 1. Next we have the images. So the images, this is featured, right? So the featured is kind of simple because we have to go and tell to the scroll, Locomotive Scroll, which elements we want to actually reveal. Yeah, so for this we'll go to featured, and we will say that, look, I want to trigger this element, so the images, and this element. If we refresh and inspect the images, we see here that a class of isReveal is applied to both the images, left and right. Yeah, I think one thing is we have to set the clip path to 100 on the X, so we don't see the image. And we need to add a transition to the clip path of 1 second. And let's add our cubic Bezier I really like. So 0.77, 0.175, and 1. And one is the reveal as a class. Reveal. Let's add here a semicolon. We set the clip path to 0. And I believe this is all we do. Check, yes. Let's refresh, let's close it. So we have the text animated, and now we even see the images animating. And this is quite simple and really nice developer experience with Locomotive Scroll, because it does by itself. We could use intersection observer, we'll use it for this carousel, but it's basically the same thing. Great. We now go further to about. About is mostly similar to let's see, to header. We can go and copy this, or actually the whole use effect. And about, where is it? Oh, no about, but yes, about, yeah. Here we'll pass this like this. Let's see, the Y is -20, the opacity, the power, all stay the same. We don't need a split parent here, and we need to change the ID here, so it's the headline. We don't even need a class here. We need to import GSAP. So import GSAP from GSAP and import the text from the util.split text. Yeah. Where use effect is not. Yeah. Effect. And now we need to add some CSS. See? Quite simple. So we just work with the opacity here. Opacity is 0. And for each of the divs, set the opacity 0 and the transform translate to 0. And then we would have this class is reveal, which we will set the opacity to 1, so to the whole paragraph. So now it's hidden. But going back to the about functional component, we would do a couple of things because we need to run the GSAP after we have the on-screen reveal. We would need to run this conditionally, but with the help of Locomotive Scroll, we can do this. So that's why we would use our hook we wrote a couple of videos ago. I will link this in a card on the top right of this video. Well, like in few sentences, it uses intersection observer. This just checks if an element gets into the viewport. We will reuse this, but first we'll need to create some more stuff. So a reference, which is a use ref, and const reveal class that reveal, which is a use state to false. That's import, yeah. Now we would const on screen, which is a use on screen. So it's a reference, and we need to assign the reference to the paragraph, so ref. Cool. Let's see. I think we don't need reveal here. Or no, we don't need. So let's rename this reveal and let's add it to the use effect. And one if reveal, we call this. Yeah, and then here in the class name we'll import class names. After this, we'll import class names package. Here we'll use it. So is reveal on reveal. Have to close. I think this should work. Let's see. We scroll. Oh, it doesn't work actually. Let's see. So some sort of mistake is here. Let's bug and see if const log reveal. True. So it changes, true, then to false. So yeah. We actually needed this. So const reveal set reveal is on screen true, false, and in the use effect listen to the reveal on we do on screen actually, and if on screen set reveal to on screen. So we just set it to true. We don't want to set it to back because it will fade away. And let's refresh. Scroll. Oh, FID. No, it still doesn't work. Oh, that reveal is not a function. Oh, it's not. Oh. So is use state. Not here, a matter of fact. Here. Taken. So we set. We should refresh. Roll. Yeah, so finally it works. Yeah. Oh, it works. Nice. Amazing. Let's first go and animate the Rio de Janeiro, because this requires more stuff to be done. So let's see the footer. The footer is around here, yeah. And the footer is basically will work like the header. We just go and copy this and the footer. Let's paste. Let's import a couple of things. Import GSAP from top. For split text from to fields, yeah. The text. And then here we'll let's see, we'll say that look from 2 and from y 200 to y0 opacity and stagger, all of these footer, port, this we need to set the reference. Reference is the h1, so ref. Need to change the ID here, so location.text. Let's save, and we need to add here the class name of isReveal. So class name reveal. Let's close it. Let's import again from class and into the CSS to update there as well. Let's see, the location, we'll set it to opacity 0. When is reveal, we'll set it to opacity 1. Reference, let's refresh, maybe this, yeah. So let's scroll to the footer. It doesn't work as expected. Look, so there's is, oh, that's why. Rough. Oh, reveal. Yeah, so things working. Yeah, nice, cool. So gallery item is we'll use GSAP for this, but it's because we use Locomotive Scroll, and the Locomotive Scroll kind of messes up with the scroll position. We'll have to use the scroll trigger proxy, and this is used when we want to have a smooth scrolling or other effects, like in our case the Locomotive Scroll, and we have to work and update the scroll top and scroll left of the scroll trigger. So in 2 words, we need to tell the scroll trigger that look, Locomotive Scroll is the boss, he's doing the scroll, and here is the current position of the scroll that Locomotive Scroll does. And so we would keep them in sync. Import GSAP from GSAP, scroll trigger from GSAP scroll trigger. Thanks, this is free. We'll also need it for later on the class names. Let's close these. And gallery item as well. See, and here in a news effect, we would have a couple of things. So we'll need to take all these sections, so const sections this up. So actually the gallery items will have to take to have in a const all the gallery item wrappers. So it's gonna be a rip an array, so utils to array dot gallery item wrapper, and then we'll need to GSAP to sections. So for all the sections, the X position starts to 100, which is viewport, times sections dot length -1. So it's an array, is, we don't need it. And the scroll trigger, it's an object. So the start is gonna be on top. The trigger is ref current, so we will create a reference. Let's actually create it right now. So use ref null. This ref goes to the gallery container ref, and back here we have, so we should tell to the scroll trigger which is the container that's responsible for the scroll. So in our case, we told to the Locomotive Scroll that main container is the data scroll container. So we would need to come and tell to the scroll trigger. So scroll, it's that's why we chose to use IDs. We would pin it a scrub 0.5, a snap, so we want it to snap to this in the timeline, and we want the pin to end when we reach to the scroll offset, so to the total scroll offset. So this is a function, and we say that the ref current and the offset width. And in the end we will need to, let's see here, refresh scroll trigger, and refreshing, I don't think it's gonna work. Refresh, let's move this. I think we'll need later. Yeah. So yeah, it doesn't work as GSAP doesn't know where the start of this container starts. So let's wrap this one to set timeout. Well, sometimes when you wrap that timeout, it might work, but it still doesn't. So the thing is, we should go to the use loco scroll hook and do a couple of things here. I found some of them online and I just tweaked them. Basically it shows off on the some kind here, so maybe the documentation would help you, but most of my problems I found help on other on Stack Overflow or on GitHub or stuff like this. Loco Scroll has events. One of them is scroll, and one there is a scroll. We would come on. When there is a scroll, we will tell to the scroll trigger. But first, we have to import GSAP from GSAP and import scroll trigger from GSAP scroll trigger, and we need to register Merger plugin, scroll trigger. Let's save. Go and see. Yeah, we kind of saw a double. Yeah. Even the text now it doesn't work. So when the loco scrolls, we will need to scroll trigger update. Let's save. And we will need to tweak the scroll trigger scroller proxy. So it will return the scroll element, and this is an object. So here we have two functions. The scroll top, the get, or actually more, but we'll need to use the scroll top and scroll left, which is scroll left. Let's see, scroll left, yeah. There is the scroll left function. So scroll top, it takes a value and returns something, and scroll left as well, it takes the value and returns something. And for the scroll top, we check if loco scroll, we have a locomotive scroll, we return arguments. So arguments of this function, length, and if there is some length, we say that look, scroll to value and 0 0. Otherwise, loco scroll dot scroll instance scroll y. We will save, and for left we just change the y to be x, and as well we need to update to create a function which is an arrow function, and if loco scroll, we loco scroll update, and here we have some to add some event listener. So scroll trigger, add event listener. On refresh we update scroll, and we refresh the scroll trigger. It's a good practice to remove all of this on unmount. So if loco scroll, we scroll trigger, trigger, remove event listener, refresh, let's update, we loco scroll destroy, we set loco scroll to null, and that's a const. We would that, we change it, and oh, otherwise we return null. Turn null here. We forgot to add a data scroll section here. So if we scroll kind of see, but before that we have to do some stuff here. So const ref, use ref null, const on screen, we'll use on screen ref 0.5, so half of this when it's in. So is effect effect if on screen. We update active image current index. Cleanup screen index. We set. Oh, we don't need here data scroll. Yeah, maybe that was the problem. Set the ref here. And we set the cyan is revealed to be green. Save. Let's refresh. Yeah, so mostly the problem was that we had misplaced the data scroll section, so it should be on the gallery container and not on the gallery item itself. So what we are left to do is to come here to the gallery item wrapper, and we would set when is revealed to be gallery item image. We transform scale to 1 and filter to none, and up to the gallery. Where is the gallery item image? Yeah, right below. We will set the transform to 0.7. We'll transition all as the filter to 1.5 second, and the cubic bezier 0.77, 0, 0, 0, 0.175 and 1. And we will filter to be grayscale 100, sepia 20%, and brightness to 80% to get a random effect. We go back to the browser, we refresh, we scroll, and boom, we got images working and the text working and the scroll working as well. So let's make it full screen. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the series. We try to replicate more effects from the awards style website, like reveal, like maybe we scroll and then we pin an element and then we scroll horizontally. Thank you for being till the end. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and press that ring button, and see you to the next one. Peace.